news. And for an instant audit on this, day one of market reaction, Jim Frischling from NewOak Capital, co-president or co-founder and president, is with us this morning. Good to see you as always, Jim. So it's, as we talked about last week, this unique situation where the equity market did not get an opportunity to react on Friday because of Good Friday. Now we're open the day after Easter. What are we likely to see today?
I think if the Asian market's are any indication, I think the numbers going to be looked at, despite it being below expectations,
Right.
It's going to be reviewed, I think, positively.
Why is that?
I think it was off for a large part due to the census numbers were about half of what most analysts expected. So that kind of is the difference between the 190 or 200,000 consensus versus where we came out at 162. So overall, I think it was a positive number and in line again, with the exception of the census.
Because people were expecting those temporary census workers to have added even more to the payrolls than they did, and maybe that tells you that because they'll be there for the next month or two, that the next couple of months will be higher than expected because those workers will have to be added in somewhere, right?
I think that's right, and I think the view is that the fiscal and monetary stimulus is starting to take effect. I think Mr. Summers did a nice job touting that, and now we move on to the administration's real big push for extension of unemployment benefits, tax benefits for small companies, and some diplomatic initiatives to hopefully help on the export side.
Still a lot of work to do with the unemployment rate at 9.7%, obviously, and millions of people still out of work. Are we on a path where it'll be month by month, things get better and better, or are you worried about a temporary increase because of things like the census workers, and then we dip down again? What are the next 6 months going to look like, do you think?
I think one of the concerns is that the private sector may not be able to keep up, or may not be adding jobs fast enough to keep up with the number of folks who are now trying to come back into the workforce, which could then keep the headline unemployment number, I think, fairly high, or rather unchanged. I think that's the negative, and then the question is there enough, or will the private sector accelerate it, and I guess...
but job growth-wise, you think we got 160 last month, and it's something like that the month after, and 200, maybe 300 one month. We're going to go month by month, getting better and better. Is that how you expect it to unfold?
I think we'll go month by month, but again, I hear people's outlook for the second half of the year is stronger, and in which case we're expecting better numbers as we move forward.
All right, and good news for markets then.
And good news for
people taking on more risk. All right, Jim, we're going to talk more with you throughout the hour. We do have this other story out too, and Jim Frischling's here for an instant audit from NewOak Capital. You weren't online over at the Apple Store in Manhattan, were you?
I was not online.
But it looked like a lot of people were. So I don't know. It's too early to tell whether or not it lives up to the hype. But from the early analyst reports, anyway, pretty good first weekend. What do you think?
I think it was better than the analysts who follow it expected, and the Apple enthusiasts. And certainly the technology enthusiasts came out in droves, so that's a good sign for Apple.
Well, it is a good sign for Apple. It doesn't tell you anything about consumer spending or the wider economy. It's just such a one-off.
Yeah, and I guess the question that will loom for a little while is the device appears to be very much a want, and maybe an Apple enthusiast might challenge that, but for the rest of us, I think it's a want and not a need. But I think, but the expectations have been managed. This is, I think, a couple weeks ago we were questioning whether this device was in fact coming. There was a lot of rumors, and the fact is it's lived up. It came when it said, and it's lived up to the, I think, to the demand that at least the Apple folks were excited to see. The lines were longer than expected.
Yeah, looking at these people camped out. It reminds you obviously when the iPhone launched, and to go out and talk to those people and cover it at the time. And there's a lot of crazy people out there. There's always a situation here in New York, but there's also this cult Apple following of people who will buy anything that the company sells. I mean, it really is amazing the phenomenon that Apple has become over the years, isn't it, in some ways?
And I think I've been commenting. I think analysts are going to raise their expectations on Apple in part because with the news with Verizon in terms of the iPhone, with the iPad comes iBooks, and I know there's some challenges there, but it's coming. And then obviously you have the other devices, the Touch and whatnot. So yeah, they keep delivering on everything they say they're going to do, and they always seem to have a great announcement waiting in the wings for the next thing.
Yeah. What about on a personal level? Do you see a use in the home, for this? And have you thought about it? Using it yourself? We're all thinking, well, I wonder where this is fit in between a laptop and a phone, or is it a completely new device I haven't thought of yet? What would I use to do day to day? Is it worth the investment? What's your personal takeaway on that?
I mean, I'm going to be a slow adopter. That's my personal take. However, and part of that has to do with mostly my usability. business computing, which I understand the iPad is not really geared towards, and even Adobe is not part of it, which is Apple has not yet worked that out.
So you would still need a laptop for that?
I still need a laptop for my work. However, it seems that from a content and from a video and gaming perspective, it appears to be the device that people are very excited by.
Yeah, the gaming and the books and all this type of stuff. Other companies have tried it, and you wonder, well, and again, it's too early to call this a success from Apple. I mean, goodness, we don't even have any sales numbers yet that are official. But other companies have tried these tablets, and Apple's come out and done it completely different. Well, this changed the game the way the iPhone did, because that's really what the iPhone did. It forced other companies to adjust the way they made their phones.
It's a great point, and I guess the question I have is, I hear people raving about the Kindle. Those who have adopted the e-books, because of the screen, because there's no light, it's easy on the eyes, and the iPad has gone a completely different direction. So I'm yet not an adopter of the e-books, but those who have adopted it seem to swear by the Kindle screen, and again, iPad's gone in a different direction. So curious to hear the feedback when people start really. Yeah,
you read like a 500-page book, and can you still see straight?
And is it like looking to a computer screen, which I imagine would burn the eyes a little bit? But again, that's I'm yet to embrace the.
All right, you'll come around in time, right? Okay, Jim, we have a couple more topics with you, but we want to talk.